2020 4Runner TRD Pro. This is as much as you can do.
Yes.
So the question is, what are we going to do with it? Well, let's be honest. We're going to do what you kind of are really going to do, which is you're going to drive on
that's very
concrete.
True.
We're going to drive on a dirt road. We're going to drive on concrete. We're going to drive on a freeway because most people that are going to buy this, here's one for you.
They're going to do that.
They're going to just do that. Here's one for you. The TRD Pro has come in an exclusive color every year since they launched it in 2014.
Yeah.
This year, it's in Army Green. It's been Voodoo Blue and Orange and Cement, which guess what was gray. Quicksand, which is that sand color I just don't get, but apparently it's a thing. Yeah. And now we have this Army Green, which is honest. I will give Toyota huge kudos for naming the color exactly what it looks like. What color is that? Well, it's Army Green. We're done.
You're watching Everyday Driver. We make a TV show, podcast,
and YouTube channels dedicated to great cars, driving adventures, and helping you find a car you'll love.
subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss a thing.
I hope that people who buy this do far more. I hope you're off-road and camping, and this is fully capable for Moab, for some pretty extreme off-roading, which we're obviously not doing.
True.
The trucks and, you know, more extreme Jeeps, that kind of thing, would do great. But 4Runners, they have grown up. I never liked 4Runners. A friend of mine had the third generation 4Runner, and I always thought the relationship between the floor and the seats was wrong. It felt small.
Oh, interesting.
It looked big. And you get in this thing, and my knees were way up here, and I thought, well, this is designed for small people, honestly. I hate to say it. And so I've never really looked at 4Runners as sort of, you know, the pinnacle SUV. And then the fourth generation came out, which was kind of a mess. It didn't really know what it wanted to be. This generation has been around since 2009.
Yes.
It's really, really old, but Toyota has updated consistently every year, new colors. They've done Toyota Safety Sense. They've upgraded the tech. They've done a lot of different things to make it fresh and relevant. And it's almost like I'm rediscovering 4Runner. To do what this must do in the market, especially the TRD Pro, it's got to have interesting, cool features. The volume knob is not this wussy little knob anymore. It's like a chunky, knurled, solid knob.
Made for gloves. I mean, it really is. Yeah, for sure.
The deck, the rear cargo deck, slide out.
Yeah,
Where has that been?
That's cool.
This is not new.
It's not cutting edge, but yet it's not in.
Where has it been in my life?
I hear you. It hasn't been in lots of
great.
things. And it's really robust, too. I mean, you can throw gear on that or people on that and slide that back and forth, which makes this real, because it's got a really high load floor.
Yeah, it does.
So it's way up off the ground. But when you've got that slide out deck, it makes it a little bit more accessible, which is good. I mean, this is the thing that CUVs are trying to do, is have a low load height and still act like they're off-roaders. This isn't just acting like
and
it.
They
This
sell
is
it, you know,
an off-roader.
On the merits of a car. Isn't it like a car? Well, if I wanted a car, I'd buy a car.
You'd think you would, but you don't. You want your
it's
rugged off-roader to
Yes.
ride like a car. I've never understood that.
I have not spent any time in this generation of 4Runner. I'm not sure I would like other lower trim levels. I like the TRD Pro version because of what they've done, and notably its suspension on this truck.
Yeah.
And that is the Fox Shock. It reminds me of our episode when we went to Speed Vegas and we drove the trophy trucks that have the really expensive suspension.
Yes.
And that floaty kind of, it's out of control. I'm not sure what it's doing, but it feels really capable. And actually on pavement, it doesn't feel like the solid rear axle that it has. It doesn't feel and beat me in the kidneys like a pickup truck.
Yeah, I'm going to have different things to say when I drive.
I know
I'm going to have different things to say than you, but that's fine. Keep going.
Speaking of power, well, let's talk about power.
There is the power.
This has a V6, 270 horsepower, 78 foot-pounds of torque.
It's a 4-liter, which is not a small engine.
Well, get this. It's channeling my Jeep love again, because the 4Runner is everything I expected my 2015 Grand Cherokee to be, which it wasn't.
All right.
I wanted it to have a more raw character, more of a personality like this. It seemed like, hey, we're Jeep, but we went too far into luxury and kind of, you know, didn't really know what it wants to be. It didn't drive like this, and it didn't every time say, why aren't you camping this weekend? What are your plans this weekend? Are you going to do something hot off-road? Like you're going to bounce around, you're going to maybe scrape up the skid plates because that's what it's for?
Skid plates even say TRD on them.
They do.
Just so you know,
So I thought, all right, you know, this is channeling what I wanted that Jeep to be.
If you're watching this, it's probably because you already love Toyota trucks.
Sure.
You're thinking,
fair.
I wish I had a Hilux, which this is related to, but you can't get
Yeah.
the Hilux in the U.S. So the Hilux, as we all saw, Top Gear proved they're bulletproof and they just keep running. So I have to be careful when I drive it because I'm already, I'm against the folks that already just are going to love it because it's a Toyota.
Sure.
But they're in an interesting space here because this is the 5th gen, but this is also old. It's been around a while.
It has. I came to this thinking it'll be fine. It'll be, kind of an off-road. It'll be Toyota. I didn't expect to really like it.
I do like it when you and I drive the same thing the same way and we come away with different takes. It doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
A lot of times we're aligned, sometimes we're just a little off. This is one of those cases where we just don't agree. Toyota is in a renaissance with their cars. They've never seemed newer, they've never seemed better designed, they've never been better dynamically. They are refining all of their cars into better versions than some of the versions we've made fun of in years past.
Okay.
Meanwhile, their trucks are languishing. We added Apple CarPlay. You did. You added Toyota Sense. You did. But the platform's a decade old. So is the Sequoia. So is the Tundra. This is what Toyota's doing right now.
Land Cruiser. Don't forget Land Cruiser.
The Tacoma too.
Tacoma too. Sure.
The Toyota truck lineup. On one level, people say, what, you buy them and they run forever and I love them and why change them? I get that. But on another level, we're a decade or more in on all of those trucks and we're just throwing a little bit of tech at them and going, it's new. It's not. It's old and it's time for something new.
Part of me wants to take the business approach and say if the numbers indicate the car's still selling, car, truck, SUV, whatever.
Yeah, true.
Not just don't change it and rest on your laurels. That's not what I'm saying. But do, enough to keep it freshened from year to year and get the investment out of your tooling.
Yes.
That does make good business sense. On the other hand, you're absolutely right. The cars seem like they're paying attention to cars now. And, well, the trucks just sell. They just sell over here.
Hang on. I have to floor it, and it's huge pedal travel to get it to really know I'm serious.
Yeah.
This has some of the longest pedal travel on an accelerator we've experienced in a long time. And listen, it is loud in here. There is no getting around the fact that it is loud. It has tons of drivetrain noise, tons of tire noise. The entire back of the cab here is a cacophony of sound all the time.
Don't forget the TRD Pro exhaust that's making it even louder under acceleration, which I don't like, actually.
And back to the
It's not good.
Where is the update question.
Yeah, sure.
4-liter V6. This feels a little underpowered, and then it's only a 5-speed transmission. When was the last time you were in something with a 5-speed? A 5-speed. Now,
It's been a while.
Look, I'm not saying that everything needs to have 8 and 10 gears. I know Ford and GM and others are going crazy with how many gears can we throw at it. It is desperately in need of a transmission update, and I think it should have a little more power. But I think the transmission is the #1 problem. You have and this pedal travel. Honestly, the pedal travel's like this. It's huge. You have got to you've got to like extend. You're practically doing like quad exercises here. You have to extend that right leg.
Like leg presses with
your
accelerator
to get
over
all the way down to the bottom of the accelerator travel for it to go. Wait, a different gear. I only have 5. I got to be real sparing with my choices here.
I agree that this is old. This is an old platform. It's just been incremental updates and changes.
Yes.
I agree to that. I do appreciate when you get something right that you can hang on to it for a little bit. Well, all-wheel drive systems, 4-wheel drive systems kind of work like they do. There's not a whole lot of updates you can have, and Toyota has had the crawl control, they've had the multi-train select for a long time. I like that they're right here, though. You've got the speed control for your crawl control, and then the multi-terrain select. So you have to actually have them in low 4 or high 4.
Brace yourself for body roll.
Well,
there's a lot of it. There's a lot of it.
That's fine.
That's
the
of
trade-off for the capability of this thing. I'm fine with that.
When I drove this, I was struck by a word. I don't remember the last time I felt it for a car. This is lumbering. It has that old school, old truck lumbering thing. I submit to you, it doesn't feel like a car from 10 years ago. It feels like a car from 20 years ago. It feels that old to me with the way the drivetrain is, with the way that it doesn't feel buttoned down. And this weighs 4,800 pounds, almost 5,000 pounds. and it has less than 300 horsepower and torque. In the modern time, that's not enough.
Sure.
The modern driver needs more than that because of the number of things you can get with a whole lot more power than this in this same. This is $52,000.
Yeah.
You can buy a lot of off-road performance for $50,000.
You can buy a Jeep Grand Cherokee.
You can buy a Jeep Wrangler, Rubicon.
Yeah.
If you want off-road, all of that, look, you can get a Rubicon 4-door unlimited for about $50,000.
It does feel underpowered. It desperately needs a turbo and a different transmission.
Transmission for sure.
But the one that it's paired with is actually working with the differential and, the entire four-wheel drive system. Yeah. I'm not sure I would like any 4Runner that isn't this trim level. I'm not convinced. But this one just feels like I want to go, turn right now.
Yeah,
let's just go right now.
Look, there's a field. They didn't put a fence up. Let's just try it. Let's do that. See what it does.
And,
yes.
4 big people and gear and everything on the roof, and you just go. Great.
This does feel like an adventure platform. I will give it that. And you're right. The fact that the sales are continuing to go up doesn't mean Toyota should do anything. But we've driven a lot of SUVs of late. Yeah. And I just keep thinking, over $50,000 for this, you have a lot of choice. I think you buy this because you remember how good 4Runners were. I've got a buddy who's just finished killing his really old Tacoma.
Okay.
He is only buying Toyota for his next truck. And to get the one he wants, he's buying one 10 years old, and guess what? It looks about like a new one. I want better across the board.
Okay, fair enough. Would that include less body roll? Because if that is the case, you're not going to get this kind of off-road performance.
Well, but let's see what the Bronco feels like, because the Bronco's being set up for high-speed off-road. If you want high-speed off-road, spend $50,000 on your Raptor. You want to talk about something that's going to have an adventure time and go wallowy around corners,
talk about something that people don't use for adventure.
You're right. But if you're going to buy something that has an adventure look and can kind of bash on the world and is going to be floaty and that kind of stuff, you need a Raptor. It's got more space, it's got more capability, and it's newer across the board. Turbo engine,
and it does have a turbo engine.
Yes.
Sure, fair enough. But they're expensive. They're like $70,000.
Well, depending on how you want to shop for one, but $50,000, you could go find yourself a Raptor.
Pretty much.
It is selling on the Toyota reliability, but I just think when I drive this, I think this can't be a 2020. This can't be that recent. It's got to be like a 2010 or a 2007. How is it? I'm looking at the Monroney going, 2020? $50,000? No!
Okay. That doesn't diminish my love for it.
Okay, well, we will agree to disagree here.
Interesting. And again, this is surprising to me. I didn't think I would.